Every time when there are new archaeological discovery that doesn't fit into the established narrative of human history, modern science dismisses it. Today we are bringing you a story that is hard to ignore, but it's still, of course, ignored. Welcome to the Global UFO channel. For some reason, modern science doesn't acknowledge the fascinating discoveries of recent years. In the past 50 years, there have been countless cases that would be professionally examined and presented to the public on any normal planet. But most of you would agree that our planet isn't quite normal, so these things are either covered up or discredited. Same like we talked in our previous video about Baltic Sea anomalies, where scientists should work more, in my opinion. Today we are talking about a case from 1991 and a fascinating discovery made by Russian geologists. During routine soil sampling along the banks of the rivers Kozhim, Narada, Balbanyu in the Ural region, they discovered unusual objects made of different metals. Initially, they thought this might be remnants of modern technology, but after examination they realized these were ancient artifacts and our knowledge of metallurgy and structures couldn't produce such objects yet. Russians are generally more open to such research. Fortunately, unlike the West, which simply sweeps such cases under the rug, which is criminal behavior in my opinion, I'm convinced that if you privately and anonymously ask most scientists today, this case would be very interesting to them. However, scientific circles and lobbies are like one big flock, and once you step out of it, even for a moment, there's no turning back. You are ostracized. Why is that? That's a topic for another video. The mysterious metal remains were dated to a whopping 100,000 to 300,000 years old. They mostly had the form of small spirals, microcoils, and springs made of various metals connected to a central support structure, which were evidently created by beings from the distant past. What's really interesting, these geologists were looking for new gold deposits during their routine soil testing. However, they returned with something far more valuable in my opinion. Additional analyses by the Russian Academy of Science revealed that the large pieces were mostly composed of copper, while the smallest fragments were made of tungsten and molybdenum alloy. Now, why are tungsten and molybdenum such interesting metals? Primarily because they don't naturally occur in Earth's crust. These metals are extracted from ores using specific chemical processes. In other words, you have to produce them among metals with the highest melting points and lowest vapor pressures. These metals are crucial for technical applications. Typical areas of use for these metals and their alloys include parts of aircraft, spacecraft, thermal devices, as well as parts of instruments, X-ray tubes, microscopes, and so on and on. These metal parts found in Russia were created through a process called stippling. Without bothering you with technical details, in short, this is a process known to modern science but impossible to replicate, meaning these objects were created with such a precision that our modern technology still can't replicate them. The largest pieces are 3 centimeters long and the smallest are 0.5 millimeters. Irregularities in their construction can't be seen even under the most powerful microscope. Despite all the evidence, many experts began to dispute the findings, claiming they came from a nearby space center in Palestine. However, they still couldn't explain if this theory was correct, where such advanced technology came from, which is still unknown to the Russians today, and why radioactive isotope dating showed that the youngest sample was over 10,000 years old, while the oldest goes back to 300,000 years. Not to mention that these samples were found deep in the ancient alluvial deposits of their Ural rivers. Despite criticism from the West and ridicule of the results from the Russian Academy of Science, research continued. In 1999, the samples were sent for examination to 3 different scientific centers in Helsinki, St. Petersburg, and Moscow. However, after the death of Dr. Johannes FSB, the head of the research, a strange silence ensued, and scientific attention to this discovery disappeared. Why is that? I think I know the answer, but providing that answer leads us into conspiracy theories that have proven not to be just theories through history. We will talk about that topic in one of the upcoming videos. This case from Russia is just one of hundreds of other archaeological cases rejected by modern science. After years of brainwashing, perhaps it would be too costly for them to create new history textbooks. I don't know what you think. Thank you all for watching. See you again soon. Goodbye.